Welcome to Aston Martin Mindset. My name's Alex Elaine, and on this episode, we're going to be talking about some interview advice to help you land your dream role in 2023 and beyond. Now, currently, I'm an area vice president at a public tech company. As a result, I lead a team that's almost 20 strong and scaling. So I do a lot of interviews I have throughout my entire career, and I see a lot of candidates. So I know typically the types of things that I'll be looking out for, certainly for my team, but also spending a lot of time with other hiring managers, other business leaders. I get a good flavor for some of the core things that really make a difference when you're sitting on the other side of the table and trying to make a good impression. Now, I'm going to talk through some of these things. And the first thing is having confidence. So if you think about it, often a hiring manager is going to meet many different people throughout an interview cycle. And one of the things that can really stand out is when you have confidence and conviction in what you're saying, the way you present yourself and the way you pitch. If you think about the era that we're in right now, a lot of interviews are taking place virtually. So you don't get the same opportunity to be physically present and actually be able to use some of the body language mechanisms that you might be able to have when you're with someone in person. So it's even more important that virtually you're able to exude confidence, present yourself, have good posture, use your hands where necessary, and really give that other person confidence themselves that you are actually the right person for the role. So make sure that you're coming in, great body language, good tonality, and you really make a great initial impression by the way that you present yourself. The next thing is preparation, which is really the precursor to that confidence. Are you actually prepared for the interview that you're going into? Have you researched the company? Have you specifically researched the person that you're going to meet? Have you gone onto their LinkedIn profile, looked at their recent activity, their recent posts to really understand some of the things that they've done? Looked at their description and their about section to understand more about the way that they think, so that you can go into that interview and actually talk to some of those things early and often. It amazes me still to this day how many people aren't prepared. I mean, I produce a ton of content, so of course I would always expect that person to be able to come in and be able to talk to me about some of the things that I'm posting recently and what's top of mind for me, along with showing that they've taken the time and that they actually care. So make sure that you take the time to prepare, do your research, do your homework, and then actually use and leverage that when you're in the interview with that other person on the other side. Now, the next thing is, in terms of thinking about some of the things that you can bring to an interview, is actually doing some of the additional work, or what I call the extracurricular things, extracurricular activities. So instead of just relying on the interview itself, have you been proactive to reach out to other people in the organization to get a better feel for what it's like to work on that team or to work for that company? Have you gone the extra mile? Have you sent an email to set an agenda out for this session? Are you just doing that little bit more to show that you have a good eye for detail, a good level of passion, and actually started to network around the organization? As a sales leader, I think it's really important that you start to think about actually how can you treat an interview process as you would approach a sale. And you want to look for the people that sweat the detail and do that little bit more. So if you think about if a company's got 10 people, 100, 1,000, reach out to some of the other people in the org and say, hey, I'm in an interview process right now. I want to understand more about X, Y, or Z. I want to understand more about the culture. I want to understand more about the hiring manager. And that attention for detail helps you to start to create more groundswell within that company. It gives you more confidence going into the interview that you better understand what it actually takes to be successful at that business. And also it gives you a better flavor for what that company is like, so that you can also qualify it in or qualify it out for yourself. The last bit of advice I'll give on this particular video is to ask questions and make sure that you've got several of them in your locker. It still amazes me to this day how people sometimes just aren't prepared in terms of asking questions. They don't seem to have questions ready. Questions show intrigue, and it shows that other person that, again, you're prepared, you're actually interested, but also that you've got that level of intrigue about what it actually takes to be successful in that role. So think about really thoughtful questions that you can ask. Ask that hiring manager, what are their priorities going into the next year? Why are those their priorities for the next year? What are the potential threats to those priorities? What does it take to be successful in that role? Why are those the attributes that are the things that it takes to be successful in that role? So it's always going into that layer 2 or layer 3 of understanding to show that you care, but also to show the person on the other side that you've really shown that you want to take intrigue into the role, and that you want to make sure that you have a great understanding to set yourself up to be as successful as possible in the role as well. I hope this video has been helpful, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.